And we are live. And there's
Beautiful.
no going back. We are here, two white men talking to each other. But one of the white men thinks the other white man's a racist. And I've just been talking. I don't know your name, actually. Do you have a name, or do you not want to say it?
Well, my name's Josh.
Josh. Right. Hold on. Okay. I get a little feedback here. So Josh has some things to say about me. I'll give a basic premise. Josh made a video about me where he, in basically no uncertain terms, compared me to a neo-Nazi. And he is firmly convinced that I'm a racist. Now, why? Why do I know some guy from Edmonton? And where are you? You're not even in Edmonton. You're like on the outskirts of Edmonton.
I am in Edmonton. I have an apartment in Edmonton.
Okay, but I mean, it looks like there's no civilization where you live.
Yeah, I
Like
was
there's a
on
road.
my buddy's ranch when I filmed that video.
Okay. So you're a gun-toting guy. You live on a ranch, or you visit a ranch. What are you killing, by the way?
What do I kill?
Yeah.
I haven't killed anything really.
So the gun is just for show?
Well, that rifle, I do targeting with it usually.
Okay. And you're not
Huge
like
range.
a are you a war veteran? Are you post-traumatic stress? What's going on?
No, none of
Or
that
is it
really.
just normal? So it's normal to have a
Well,
gun
no.
in Canada.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, we have
Now,
a hell more
well, we'll get in.
restrictions for our gun laws than you guys do. Like I have about like 7 or 8 guns, and I have a handgun, and you have to have a double special permit for that, and you're not allowed to take it out except for if you're going to the gun range, which you need a special permit to transport it from your house to a gun range.
So you have 7 or 8 guns?
Yeah.
Man. Oh, well, that's a hobby. I mean, I got different hobbies. We're doing my hobby. My hobby's YouTube and talking, but I've never talked to somebody who had some nasty things to say about me. But the reason you discovered me was because of the Drunken Peasants. You're a fan of the Drunken Peasants, and they
Actually,
told
I
you,
caught on to your. I was watching your videos probably a month and a half before you started conflicting with the drunk peasants.
okay, because what? You're against Islam.
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, so am I. Unless they're black Islam, black Muslims, I'm especially against. I don't know if I've mentioned that. Yeah. There's a hierarchy. The white Muslims I tolerate. So
I
you
tolerate
have
them like I hate them. Aurora Raheem Green and fucking what's the other guy's face? I've done 2 videos on white Muslims. They're both fucking retarded.
yeah. Who is that guy? I think I watched one of your
Yusuf
videos.
Estates and Aurora Raheem Green. They're both white Muslims. And they're both
Yeah,
fucking little ass faces. They're also both American.
you know what I think it is? It's not even white or brown Muslims. It's English Muslims bug me. It's that accent, that Cockney accent mixed with 7th century dog shit is like a deadly combo for me. It just gets under my skin. Um,
Yeah.
and just white guy beards, like ginger beards. No
Oh
no
yeah, yeah.
offense. Yeah, why do you have a beard, by the way?
Well, I'm young and I'm doing 2 trades at the same time. I'm doing a welding apprenticeship. I'm a 3rd year and I'm a 1st year ironworking.
Mhm.
Being a young guy, you do not get taken seriously in the oil field unless you have a sleeve and a beard.
Oh, really? So it's like
That is,
a pecking
yeah,
order.
that gets you respect. I'm the
So,
youngest guy. The second youngest guy on my crew. He's like fucking 34.
mhm.
So I
Wow,
actually gain respect with my tattoos and my beard.
I see. Interesting. Man, never considered that. But then again, I never considered welding as a profession. Um, but let's get into the nitty gritty here. So we had discussed before. You got some opening comments and a prepared thing. So I'm all ears. Let's hear what a racist I am.
Okay. Firstly, I'd like to give a shout out to all your fanboys. I've been watching them this week. They've been very entertaining. In this debate, I intend to prove 2 points: that you have a two-dimensional view of statistics. You condemn the result, which would be black people committing more crimes, and you fail to acknowledge the endless sociological factors that are at play. You seem to have a delusion that you're some sort of alpha male in the atheist community, but in reality, you're a big fish in a small pond.
Hold on.
It's
Are you talking about my fans or me?
you on that one.
Okay, so
You have a
you
huge ego.
You think I have an ego,
Yeah, a pretty big ego.
and based on what?
You calling everyone that disagrees with you a pussy.
Well, that's a bit of a wide net. I mean, there are a lot of pussies out there, but they're not pussies because they disagree with me. But wait a minute.
Well, you call me a pussy. Like, how does that work out?
Who?
Like,
You?
I'm doing two. Yeah, you called me a pussy.
You made a video about me calling me every. You called me a pussy in your video. What are you talking about? That
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
because
even
you
know
call
you.
everyone else a pussy.
No, what the fuck? You call me a pussy at the end of your video to a total stranger, and now you're bitching about me calling you a pussy? First of
Well,
all,
no, I'm not bitching that you call me a pussy. I'm bitching that you call everyone a pussy. And I'm just kind of looking
oh
at
yeah,
this. Like,
yeah,
you're in the community. You're
yes,
calling everyone a pussy, and I'm sitting here. I work in the oil patch. I've worked on the drilling rigs. I'm a tradesman, and I don't see where you can call everyone a pussy. Is where I'm coming
well,
from.
do you know what a pussy means?
Well, I'd say a coward.
Okay, so when I think specifically on this issue, when I'm talking about a pussy, I'm talking about people who are afraid to acknowledge facts. They're afraid to even talk about an issue like race. They're afraid to call out black people on anything because slavery, because of this guilt. I'm saying this is a weak and cowardly stance to take. Therefore, they're pussies. And
Yeah, I
based,
would admit that drunken peasants do. Uh, well, the thing is, they're popular. They appeal to the general population. That's the difference between you and them. They suck the cock of the population, which
Mhm,
gets them viewers. That's why they're popular, is because they appeal to the masses. That's what you
right.
have to be. You have to hold the same values as the population to be popular.
Yeah, this is not a popular stance, but the correlation to Islam is the exact same. There are many people who are pussies about Islam, including
I,
most
I
of the
don't.
most of the internet atheists, the president of the United States, etc. I mean, this goes on. And in Canada, the Parliament of Canada, they're the biggest pussies of all when it comes to Islam. So
Agreed.
it's not just me being misogynistic or just harping on this one term. It's very accurate assessment of what's happening.
No, but okay, it's one thing to condemn somebody who subscribes to an ideology. Like, we both know, like, we have the general knowledge of the Quran. If you say I'm a Muslim, that means you have to hate gay people. It's Muhammad. Uh, he says the perfect punishment for homosexuality is death. So unless you disagree with Muhammad, I'd say you're not a Muslim if you disagree with Muhammad. If you're a non-homophobic Muslim, if you disagree with the Prophet, if you don't think that homosexuals should be killed, then you're not a Muslim. I'm sorry. If you
Right,
disagree with the Prophet, you're not a Muslim.
right. And so there are many people who would take offense to what you just said and say, "How dare you tell them what it means to be a Muslim? What are you, the authority on the
No, that's the
Quran?"
definition. That's what they preach. Anyone who doesn't know that doesn't know Islam.
Right. No, I understand. I'm in agreement. But when I call people pussies, it's for not engaging in uncomfortable conversations that happen to be uh,
I'm condemning somebody who
vitally
subscribes
important.
to an ideology. You're condemning somebody who's born that way. When you group an entire race together, that's racist.
What? Yeah, but I'm not calling black people pussies. I'm calling white people who are afraid to talk about race or criticize any race that isn't white. I'm calling that idea a pussified idea. But let me get back to this ego thing. So
Yeah, but
you're
there's a
saying it's
reason why they don't want to criticize black people. It's because there's no criticizing there.
what? What do you mean there's no criticizing there?
I don't see how you can criticize. I just see crime as a result of poverty. Like, that's what poverty breeds.
Okay, hold on. You're breaking out your big guns here. And that abortion of an argument is just too good and too central to everything you have to say. But let's get back. And I first want to address why you think I have an ego, and is what's wrong with having an ego? What's wrong with having self-confidence or feeling good about yourself?
Well, there's feeling good about yourself, and there's making everyone feel like shit for how you
Who?
address
Who?
other people.
Who am
You
I
do. Like,
addressing?
have you watched one of your videos?
Yeah, I
Like,
love my videos.
half your video is like destroying their points, and the other half is destroying their personality.
Oh, right. So so this is a Canadian mindset of we should be nice. I should be nice to people. I noticed that half of the video, and we'll get into it, you seem to be upset that I was teasing Jacqueline about how she looks. Like you
Well,
think
no,
that's
that was
off
mainly your
limits.
hypocritical point.
What's hypocritical about it?
I could really care less.
So what's wrong with, so you expect me to be nice? You want me to make videos that
Well,
are just
no, I
nice?
expect if you have a good message, if you think you're right and you have a good message, why not address that to the population? Why do you want to stay underground?
Stay
Like
underground.
you have a talented voice, you can speak.
Oh, right.
You could go really far if you appeal to the public.
Well, I'm not trying to gain subscribers. I mean, if my goal was to get to a larger audience, of course I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna swear. I'm not gonna drop cunt bombs. I'm not gonna bring up race for starters, and I'm not gonna call out other atheists, especially if my goal is to. I mean, who's my target demographic? Atheists, you would assume.
Then what's the point of what you're doing? Like, aren't you trying to like change the world at all?
No, no,
Like, don't you want to?
no,
You don't want to make changes in the world.
no, not really. I
So
mean,
why do you do this?
well, I want to make changes in a small little way, but I have a very clear and non-egotistical perspective on my contribution to any change in the world. On an individual basis, I might change a couple people. I've made videos that I'm proud of, and I'm happy that they sit up there in perpetuity online because I know that they do affect people. But
Yeah, I
this is
like
more
your
about,
Sam Harris video.
yeah. I mean that one. If I just made one video, I'd be happy just if that one sat up there. Um, but no, I mean that's very idealistic to be like, oh, I'm going to change the world. So that leads me to another point. Are you a regressive?
No,
So you don't consider yourself that?
no,
Do you watch the Young Turks?
no.
Okay. So what are you? Are you right wing, left wing?
Left.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not here to make friends with Jacqueline Glenn or The Amazing Atheist or Neil deGrasse Tyson. I mean, I don't care about popularity. Why would I continually pump out channels? Why would I don't know, push the envelope with copyright stuff? I mean, I'm not, it's not my goal. It's just for fun for me. I mean,
Yeah, but like
there,
you have like a radio like voice. Like you
yeah,
could make a career out of like doing satellite XM kind of
yeah.
thing.
Well, thank you, but I thought about that for a split second, and then I came across these podcasts, the Cognitive Dissonance and the Scathing Atheist, and there's a bunch more. Penn Jillette has a really good one, but I mean, these guys have basically covered this ground, and it's being taken care of. Like there's good content out there, and I have other concerns, and there's also no money in it. I mean, it's not really a viable use of time. The amount of time I
There
spend on
is if you
this.
appeal to the population.
Yeah, but then I'm not going to kowtow to people. And if anybody likes me out there, if anybody respects what I'm saying, they respect me for my honest, legitimate opinions. I'm not going to pretend or filter myself or censor myself just to make them happy. That's when you're dead, artistically and intellectually. So like right now, if I had a PR manager, he would say, Devin, stop talking about race. I don't care if it's a real issue. I don't care if it's an important issue. I don't care if you have opinions about it. Stop talking about it. It's toxic. If you're a white person addressing race, addressing black people, guess what? You're going to get a backlash, and it's going to be hate, and it's going to be smears, and it's going to be strawmen, and it's like where there's smoke, there's fire, and it doesn't
No,
even
but
matter if. Go ahead.
you can address the issue, but taking a different approach to it. Like
Well,
instead of saying black people commit more crime, you can go behind it and say why are black people committing more crime?
okay. Well, then this is the exact point of all of the criticism I've ever gotten, and this is the bullshit, very weak, like surprisingly weak response I've gotten from yourself, but the drunken peasants and every other. I am not talking about why people commit crime. Do you understand why I don't care about that and how that's totally separate? That's a totally separate conversation.
I don't
Okay,
understand why
okay,
you don't
so
care.
what? Wait a minute. Okay, so wait a minute. So if somebody comes and blows up your house, do you care that they blew up your house? And do you care who they were? Or do you care why they did it?
I think both. I care who they were and why they did it.
What? How? The fact that they do it is what I'm talking about. I can't even get to why, and I have opinions about why and the
Well, why
reasons.
wouldn't you care? Like they blew up your house. Why wouldn't you know why they did it? Like, are they going to come after you next? Is this a string of arson that's going to happen in your family, or is it random? Why wouldn't you want to know the cause and effect of why your house blew up?
Okay, well, yeah, you could find out why, but that still doesn't take away the blame and the responsibility of the person that did it. So the discussion of why is like totally tangential. It doesn't matter. What matters is who is committing crimes, like who did this act. And the fact these acts are inexcusable. Do you agree with that? There is no excuse for murder and rape.
Yes.
Agree. So morally and just within this context of this conversation, there's no point in discussing the reasons because this is going to lead down a path.
Yeah, but that's not a solution. You can't just say, "Oh, well,
Okay,
it's
yeah,
pointless to
okay.
address." That's not a solution.
Okay, so you're trying to solve the problems of the world. So okay,
I'm
well,
trying to identify the problems of the world.
yeah, no,
I can't do shit myself. I don't have the subscriber base. I'd like to get to the point where I could say something and I get fucking 100,000 retweets. Why wouldn't I like that? Then you're making change.
Okay, so then, and you say you're not a progressive.
No.
I guess you're young enough to still be idealistic about all this. But okay, here's the problem. You said, how can you change the problem? How can you solve the problem? We're not even close to talking about solving this. We cannot even talk about the problem. Why was I called a racist?
It's identifying the cause.
Identifying. And what did I do? No, it's identifying the problem, not the cause.
Okay,
the problem.
The second step is identifying the cause.
Okay, so we can't get past the first step. If
the problem is that people commit crime. The second step is why do they commit crime?
No. People don't commit crime. You just said that like it's some even thing, like gay Eskimos are committing the same amount of crimes as the guys in South Central. That is not true. So you are afraid to identify the problem. So you are the problem now. You are the reason we cannot get to step 2. Because guess what? You're going to be called a racist if you even identify the problem. It's like Al Gore talking.
Like you look at your statistics. Your statistics are correct. Black people do commit more crimes. But why do they commit more crimes? Poverty breeds crime.
Stop it. Yeah, but wait a minute. Stop. I will not let you derail this into why. I have not even said a thing, not one thing about why people commit crimes. Because I have been called a racist for saying what is happening. Just for mimicking and announcing publicly.
That's the thing, because you're not saying why. You need to look at both. You can't just say, "Oh, the crops are fucking dry. Those stupid fucking crops." The crops need rain. They need nourishment.
Yeah, no. The problem is not. Look, you're talking about a solution. I'm talking about the problem. And we cannot. If we cannot identify the problem,
you have to think of a solution as well.
This is the exact same thing we go through with Islam, where President Obama will say ISIS is not Islamic. In other words, he cannot identify the problem. He's not willing to say that radical Islam is a problem. So then how can we possibly...
I agree.
Right. So how could we possibly solve the problem of radical Islam if we cannot even call it for what it is? Do you understand how that's...
between an ideology and something that somebody's born with.
I'm not...
Like,
yeah, but I'm not
when
saying
you say black people commit more crimes, like there's no difference between black people and white people. Are you saying like the pigment of the skin has any statistic? There's other factors to crime. Like, race is irrelevant.
Calm your body. It sounds like you're talking about gay people when you say people are born with it. I'm not saying black people commit crime because they're black. What is that your straw man? Is that you seem to think that? I mean, I don't care. If we were talking, if the Koreans of America if 3% of young male Koreans were committing 53% of the crimes, I would be talking about Koreans. And it wouldn't be that, oh, if you're born Korean and a man, that you're automatically predestined to commit crime. Like, look, I'm glad to go into why with you if you want, but I need you to understand the unbelievable divergence that this represents in the conversation. A discussion of why is totally different than what, and what they are doing is committing a vastly larger number of crimes, which you apparently don't even deny. You accept the facts.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so what is racist about what I said?
The fact that you've only said the result. Well, let's look at your quote. Black people are insanely more criminal than every other race. Well, they are killing infinitely more people in America, than any other race in America. That statement in itself is racist. Do you admit that or do you deny it?
Admit that. I don't admit it because it's not remotely true. What are you talking about?
It's the same quote for me.
Okay, yeah, break that down again and let's talk about it. Say it again.
Black people are insanely more criminal than every other race of people.
Yes. So what are you hearing from that? That is the way it is. That is the way it is, dude.
There's other factors to it.
Yeah, but see, what are you talking about? No, There's no other factors. There are no mitigating factors. I don't
Okay,
care.
so have you ever lived in poverty? Have you ever been homeless?
No, but I've lived in the city of Los Angeles.
Okay, so
where
you don't know shit about poverty is what you're saying. You don't know their life at all is what you're saying, but you're willing to disregard it entirely. It's not a factor. You've never experienced it, but it's not a factor. How do you know? Like, you're saying, oh, they're committing crimes. Oh, we should tell them to stop committing crimes. Well, how about you get a time machine, go back and fix their fucked up life? That'll do it. Like fucking
Java components.
whatever little rinky-dink suburb you come from in Canada. So no,
I was actually born on a cash crop farm, and I worked on a dairy farm for 7 years.
exactly. You were raised not even among human beings. You live among cows which are black and white. So that's good. That's a start. But listen, poverty is not an issue here. Okay, this is your issue. This is what you're like, oh, we got to fix poverty, and then that will solve it. Let's not blame these people who commit crimes. I mean,
no, you can blame people for committing crimes. It's just why they commit crimes is the bigger issue.
So then, again, reread that sentence that I said and tell me what's wrong about it.
1 second.
You agree with that sentence. That's my point, and you're too blind to see it.
Black people are insanely more criminal than every other race of people, while they're killing infinitely more people than any other race in America.
Okay,
saying black people are insanely more criminal.
Yes.
Is ignoring
no,
sociological factors.
Stop. You've seen the graphs. You see the divergence between the numbers. Black people are insanely more criminal than every other race in America. That is the most matter-of-fact, logical statement. How could you deny that?
Yes, they do commit more crimes.
What?
Yes, they do commit more crimes, but that's not saying that there's other causes to the effect.
Okay, but stop. My sentence doesn't talk about any causes. It doesn't even address that.
Yeah, that's the problem, that you don't address the causes.
So you're saying it's racist for me to not mention causes?
Yes, it is.
That's absurd. What the fuck are you talking about? If I make a statement, a factual statement about the nature of reality, these are the people committing crimes. That's the end of the statement. That's not a racist thing to say. That's a reflection of the truth of the situation. Now, if you want to talk about causes, we can get into your bullshit and your excuse making, and you throw out the word poverty and like socioeconomics, and then poof, now there's nobody to blame. Now it's like, oh, well, that's probably
anyone who commits a crime should serve their time for it.
No, so good. So then me stating who is committing crimes is not racist in any way, shape, or form. Now, if you want to talk about the reasons, that's a separate conversation. We can do that.
But leaving out the fact that they've said that, or that they commit crimes and not say why they commit crimes.
No, like, I hold them. Listen, I hold them accountable for the crimes they commit. There's nothing you could talk about with reasons that is going to alleviate the burden that is squarely upon them that they have committed these crimes. These murder rates are true things. These people are dead. These rapes happened. There's nothing you can say that's going to take away their moral responsibility for that.
Okay, so why don't we take your statistics and put them into police procedures? Like, why don't we just profile everyone? Like, it's black and white. Black people commit more crimes. So shouldn't statistically, like, okay, a variety store gets robbed. A cop looks, he's staying there. To the right person, there's a black person walking down the street. To the left, there's a white person walking down the street. Which way do you go? Do you go right or left? Statistically, you should go right.
Yeah, I think
what we should be doing.
So wait, let me guess. You're afraid of the word profiling?
I'm not afraid of it.
Okay, so of course you should profile. Profiling is an amazing thing. It's using all the given information we have to factor in our decision making. So if there's a guy walking down the street at night in wearing a hood, he's a shadowy figure, and you say, oh, that looks like a young man, then yes, you should be more alarmed than if it's an old woman. Is that profiling? I mean, it's like, yes, and is it good? Is it smart? Is it commonsensical? Is it what every human on the planet does and should do? Of course you should profile. And guess what? Hijackings of airplanes since 1980, 73% of the hijackings have been from Muslims around the world. So should the TSA...
No, those are two different topics. That's an ideology.
No, it's not. What are you talking about? It's using information that is grounded in reality to assess how you view future situations. So if somebody comes in your...
How do you know the guy to the right isn't a young college kid? That you just said the cop should statistically just go fucking arrest that kid.
Yeah, calm down.
And the guy on the left is actually part of the Crips or Bloods.
Yeah, well, calm down. Well,
white
first,
kid that you ignored on the left, it was actually the one who committed the crime, and it was a college
okay.
student that you're now beating in the head with a fucking bat.
Well, first of all, champ, you can't be white and be part of the Crips and the Bloods. So I guess you didn't grow up in LA like I did, but when I tried to initiate him, they said, no, you can't, you're white. So if the guy looks like a criminal, then yeah, you might factor that in. How they're dressed, sure. If the guy looks like a college student, if he's got a cell phone on, he's got a backpack, he's working on an iPad, yeah, maybe you factor that in too. I mean, what the fuck? You seem paranoid. You're like, oh God, we got to view everything as total neutrality. We can't take information in. I mean, what is your deal? I mean,
well, it's just the people that get caught up in profiling, like that exact thing. The profiling itself is a way against black people.
oh,
The fact that you want to look at them differently makes them different.
Makes them different? No.
Yes, it does.
That doesn't make any sense.
You want to have a look at, like, you say profiling is good. Okay, so profiling 9 out of 10 times is going to get you the right guy, but that one time you're throwing somebody who's innocent in jail.
Well, yeah, throwing them in jail, there has to be evidence. You go on a case-by-case basis. You just adjust your level of concern, your information, this is wisdom. This is what you call wisdom. I mean, we're not going to sit there with blinders on and pretend like, oh, we don't know anything. We've accrued no knowledge over the past forever. We got no stats. We don't have any experience in this field. We don't know who is more likely to be a criminal and who isn't. Doesn't mean you arrest everybody just on the basis of how they look or that they fit some profile. You say, okay, I now have a certain understanding that there's more likelihood here that this grandmother is not going to shiv me with a knife than this young man would. That's a totally normal, commonsensical thing, but you're off the point. You have called me a racist, and you have no reason to have done that. You agree with everything I've said. You just now want to talk about reasons. So why don't we go down your reasons path, and you tell me the reasons why crimes are committed and how this is relevant to the factual problem on the ground that black people commit insanely more crime.
Yeah, well, profiling is a vicious cycle in itself. So
you think profiling is the reason why black people murder and rape?
It's a part of the reasons.
How in the fuck did you get that? Where?
Well,
how did you make that jump?
Okay,
well, how?
Okay, black people are statistically more likely to commit crimes, so people, like even the innocent people, are going to get caught up in law enforcement by their own standards. They're going to be innocent and they're going to be accused more often than not.
Wait a minute, accused of what? They're dead bodies.
Black people are falsely accused more than white people.
Oh, what? I don't know where you're pulling that out. First of all, there are dead bodies on the ground. How does profiling from a police officer have to do with some black guy killing another black guy, which happens 93% of the time, which happens in an absurd amount that no other country, no other demographic of any country can match our black on black crime? How is racial profiling, how does racism play into this? And if you want to talk about white on black crime, that is infinitesimal compared to black on white crime, which is almost 10 times more likely to happen when it comes to murder. And the rape numbers are absolutely absurd. White people raping black women versus black guys raping white girls. That number will floor you. Now, where does profiling come into this? I mean, what kind of a red herring is this? You don't want to face the problem. You want to talk about other shit. You want to blame yourself. You want to blame the white people or the institutional racism. You want a boogeyman. You cannot
give... It doesn't work against them.
Yeah, but you're condescending to them because you don't let them fuck up. You don't let them make their mistake. They need to own up to their mistakes. And let's throw out the caveats for everybody else. I'm aware that there's a bunch of fucking disgraceful criminal white people out there, and they deserve, they need to own up to their mistakes too. They're reprehensible as well. The reason we're not talking about them is because they're not the topic. But if they were the topic, I have a lot to say on them. They happen to not commit crimes at the same level per capita as black people, which is the original point, which is the original problem that I want to address, and Canadians like this want to avoid and talk about racial profiling of cops, like ignoring the death numbers. Like, these people are dead. They are murdered in the street. This has nothing to do with racial profiling.
Yeah, no, it's the factors that breed, like, okay, you say, like, okay, somebody turns 23, then they just decide to commit crimes? Or is it ongoing factors that lead up to their lives as adults, as criminals?
Okay, so you want to talk about ongoing factors? Sure, let's talk about that. All of which has no bearing on their being criminally responsible for their actions. Morally responsible, criminally responsible. That's what my concern is. But I will go down and play your game and talk about reasons. Here are some reasons. They don't have stable families, the black community. Other communities too.
Yep.
The white numbers are not that great either. That's the little hidden truth. When you look at the single parent families, it's over 70% in the black community. It's like 30 something in the white. It's not that good in the white. The Asians have it way better. Way better. It's like very low on it. And so what does that lead to? What does it lead to? It leads to doing better in school. You have discipline, you have expectations. You're more stable economically. You you send your kids to school, they do well in school, they get a job. That's why Indian families always win the spelling bee competitions. And guess what? Whenever they cut to the parents, it's a husband and wife of the Indian homeschooled kid. And that Indian kid's going to grow up to be an engineer. And guess what? He's not going to murder anybody. So yeah, those are factors that lead to this, none of which is really relevant to me. If I could snap my finger and solve all those problems, I would do it. But it's not my place, and it's really not of any interest to me. I mean, what am I supposed to do to solve the single parent black family household problem? Be like,
Yeah, you can, but you don't hold that against them.
I do hold it against them. This is part of the thing that breeds out this culture of criminality. You think I'm going to pat these black single mothers on the back and be like, good job, you had another kid as a teenager or whatever? I mean, this is terrible. This is not a good thing.
Yeah, it's also a vicious cycle. That's what poverty breeds. That's what poverty breeds. Yeah. It leaves like families broken.
Yeah, boo-hoo. Boo-hoo for them.
Children will grow up to be, well, okay, go on.
Yes, boo-hoo for them. Sorry. Stop killing people. Stop raping people. That's not acceptable. I don't care. There's a lot of poor people in this world. There's a lot of poor people. And it's no excuse for them to go and take part in this behavior. It's a stain on society. This is a dysfunctional thing that we're looking at here and addressing. Now, it's not my responsibility. That's the thing. Everybody wants to deflect. They want to blame. I'll blame the police. Blame racism, just this generic racism. Blame slavery. Blame everything else. Don't take responsibility. Don't change anything from within the community. I got news for you. They're not going to listen to some white atheist from Germany saying, hey, black community, could you try having fathers? Could you try not dropping out of school? Do you think that's going to fall on deaf ears or not?
Again, you're attacking the cause, you're attacking the result, not the cause.
I'm addressing the causes. Those are the causes. How far back do you want to go? What's behind?
Well, it's a vicious cycle, so it never ends. That's the thing.
So wait, when did the cycle start? I started from the family unit.
It started when we brought them over from Africa.
Okay, there you go. Now we're back. Now we're back to the white guilt. Now we're at the core, ladies and gentlemen, of the white guilt narrative. So we're half an hour in, and we're talking about slavery. So for fuck's sake, man, slavery. Come on. You don't find that to be pathetic that you're going to bring that up?
Yeah, it is a pathetic excuse, but it's a factor.
Of course. We all know the history of what's happened here. Let's rise above it, shall we? This is not like some
let's get the black community together and let's rise against it.
Okay, you and I, let's spearhead that. Let's call Jesse Jackson. And you and I are going to do a march. So here's the problem. They don't blame. They're not looking for shit within their community. They're blaming cops. They're going after, the police brutality case.
Hello? Hello? Yeah, I think that's all right. Probably text him, see if he can still hear you, if it's just on our end or.
disconnect?
Yeah. I think so. Well, no, he's gone. I don't know if I'm still up.
Oh, you haven't hung up.
Still says live.
Yeah. Talking was weird.
Yeah.
Send him a message on Twitter. Say, did you disconnect or did I disconnect?
Well, if we are live, I'm going to take this time to plug my channel if you're not already subscribed with me. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. He's gone. Yeah, okay, so, yeah, I'm live by myself with all Atheist-Rooted followers. So, yeah, go to my channel, Canadian Atheist, and subscribe, or follow me on Twitter, or do both.
Lots of Muslim videos.
Yeah, lots of good Muslim videos on there. Deceit of Islam 3 is probably the best. What else is there?
Paulism.
Fuck that video.
So he said he disconnected them?
Maybe he just like ranted so hard he imploded. Or he had a brain aneurysm. Like he's gotta have really high blood pressure. Like just like how much he attacks everything. Yeah. What else we got here? Oh, I can play some of our music till it gets back.
Yeah.
Why the fuck not? Well, I don't really have a good enough connection to fucking.
Okay. Download it?
Well, no, it won't be good quality because it's just gonna be off my laptop.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck it.
Never did figure out how to. I tried playing music on there. I tried testing that out and I couldn't get it to work.
Here's some shit from my old band back when I was in college.
Do you have the stream link?
Yeah.
He gave that to you, right?
Yeah, I put it on Twitter.
Oh, great. Oh, I can test to see if the stream's still live or not.
Let's go. Watch me it's all for you. It's all for you. Take my hand. Close your eyes. You got it. Take your place. Watch me it's all for you. Take my hand. Close your eyes. Nothing is holding back. You're different. You're my best.
He's still live.
Fuck it. I got his viewers from the host. How many viewers are there?
139 watches.
139, eh?
Yeah.
I better see 139 subscriptions on my channel. Now that Devin has left me alone with you guys.